I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Richard. I'm the owner of Independent Electric Company. I've owned that business for over 40 years. So I've been a master electrician all this time and also been an inspector for approximately 20 years. And I've decided to do a channel to help homeowners who want to perhaps do things themselves. And at the same time, they may want to be able to identify when they should call a professional and what to look for. So first of all, one of the first things you need to do if you're doing any job is a tool. So I'm just going to show you, this is just a few of the basic tools. Perhaps you'll need a lot more, but I've got some of the tools here. I'm going to grab a couple of these. You've got your lineman's pliers, which of course you know what that's good for cutting wire, and also the tip of it is good for bending the wire and twisting it together. Now, you'll see the tools that I use, a lot of them do have the insulated handles that's meant for voltage. These ones here, they're rated for 1,000 volts. Just because a tool has insulation on them, for example, like these tools here, even though it's insulated, in reality, it's not rated to work on live devices. And so because of that, you need to make sure you understand what you're using and when you're using it for. Got a pair of diagonals, good for cutting wire, right up close snips. Your typical little other tools, you've got your screwdrivers, the Phillips end, and of course, I like using insulated tools because this is what I do for a living. Then there's other things, definitely I think is definitely a requirement. Good pair of safety glasses just to help protect your eyes in case if there is something that chips off, or sad to say if it happens that you have a little spark, it protects your eyes, at least from the flying debris. A pair of good gloves, and now I do have actual high voltage gloves, but for this demonstration I'm just going to show you that I just have some decent leather gloves to help protect my hands. Then of course you got to have a meter. Now, what type of meter? That will be discussed in another video. But it is important to have a meter that's reliable. There's other type of meters. We call this one a little sniffer. Sniffs out the voltage, and you just take it, and if there's some voltage some nearby, you'll hear it off, and you can hear that it'll beep and identify it. But sometimes this isn't reliable in certain situations. So it's good to know that even though this is a quick way to check things, and we too, again, will discuss that. So one of the things that I wanted to mention in regards to this video is that the reason why this comes up is in your home, and you'll notice I'm going to put up a couple of pictures here just to show you why we talk about this, is that we have found when you walk into your home, you want a beautiful setting. You want to be able to go over and plug in a lamp, put in an appliance, put in a hairdryer, plug in your television, plug in your chargers for your phone or whatever it is. So everywhere you go in your home, there is electricity. In fact, you think about it, electricity wraps around every room of your house. Not only wraps around, but it also goes over your head. And the reality is that one of the most dangerous items in your home is electricity. You realize that, for example, you may say you have a receptacle that yesterday was working. What happened? Today it's not. Oh, great. How am I going to fix it? Well, that's what this channel is for, is to help you to identify these problems, whether it's a simple fix. If it's a simple fix, we'll explain to you how to do it. For example, another item may be a light. 1 minute the light was working. All of a sudden it quit working. Is it the switch? Is it the light? How can you identify it? And so we'll spend some time showing you how to use a meter and also how to identify where the problem could lie. One of the reasons why I wanted to start off talking about this in regards to electrical safety, though, is that in the United States alone, there are approximately 1,000 deaths a year as a result of electrical injuries. And of these electrical deaths, most of them are from the simple electricity that goes into your home. And in fact, they say that there's at least 30,000 shock incidences per year that take place. And of that, they say each year approximately 5% of all burn unit admissions in the United States occur from electrical injuries. And sad to say, approximately 20% of those electrical injuries occur in children. See, the highest incidence is in toddlers. So we have to be careful. We need to say, what can we do to protect our children? And so we'll highlight some things. Even some of the way they make devices now is such that they actually help protect the best they can to avoid such injuries. Now, if you're a handy homeowner, you probably have a few of the essential tools that I mentioned. And whenever you're doing repairs around the house, of course, you're going to have a hammer, a tape measure, a few screwdrivers, maybe a power drill. But the basic electrical items is something that you need to consider highly because it is one of the most dangerous items you work with. And yet, you don't have to be afraid of it. See, we'll see if we can help you put into place some electrical safety guidelines, some things to think about as a homeowner, because the reality is that you need to make your money go as far as you can. So the idea of this channel is maybe I can relate something to you to help you to understand and to be able to perhaps do many of the repairs yourself. And if it is a questionable situation, perhaps we can answer those questions. If not, we can help identify why at that moment it is probably best to hire a professional. So let's first of all, we're going to address meters. So for example, do you really need an electrical meter to do electrical work? Well, let's discuss it.
So we will cover such things as what do we do with the danger around all this with this power right next to a sink? Or as we use a meter, perhaps one like this. Maybe it shows it's hot, but is it? How do we know if something is really safe? Here, again, power, but yet our meter doesn't work. Why is that? See, such things is going to be answered in the next video. So please stay tuned as we watch these next videos, and it'll teach you how to use your meter, how to make sure areas are safe near kitchen sinks and the devices. And this next one, is this plug dead or is it hot? How do we know for sure? And that's why we need to know the proper use of meters. So please click to my next video. Definitely something that you won't want to miss.